In this video, I'm going to show you why using exercise to lose weight, and I'm talking specifically about counting calories burned, is a bad way to lose weight. Don't worry, I'm also going to show you what you need to do instead. These are the exact same tips that I give to all my students, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. So you know it works. Before we get started, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. It really helps support my channel. All right, let's get into it. It's still very common to hear in the general fitness space of people trying to manually burn calories through exercise. It's still as pervasive today. I even hear people counting calories burned from doing hot yoga. And I've been talking about this topic on my channel for a few years now, that you can't just manually burn off that donut you just had. It doesn't work that way. That's now been scientifically proven to not work. If that's news to you, well, now you know. Again, that idea came from this calories in versus calories up model that the masses have been sold for decades now, which is just such an oversimplistic way of looking at the human body. Here you are possessing the most complex thing in the known universe, which is your brain, and then you think you can just eat a little less and move a little more to lose weight. No. It fails almost every single time. It's got about a 99% failure rate. It's a little bit more complicated than that. For example, the purveyors of this model just makes the erroneous assumption that the calories out part of the equation stays stable. It does not stay stable. Your metabolism, for starters, can go up or down by as much as 40%. You can also only burn a finite amount of calories in one day. Instead, you want to think of it as calories burned versus calories stored. The human body is set up to store excess calories for future use, and it's very good at it. If you look at some of these extreme shows, like My 600-Pound Life on cable TV in the US, it seems like there's no limit to how much fat the body can store. So there's that. You gotta remember that excess fat is just stored energy waiting to be used. It's not just there for looks to make you feel bad about yourself. Think of it as granola bars strapped all over your body. If you have a spare tire around your stomach, you have a granola bar belt. The good thing is we also have the genetic capacity to take out some of that stored energy and convert it into usable energy in the form of ketones. We can also manufacture our own glycogen through gluconeogenesis. It's an evolutionary trait we developed that enabled us to survive periods of scarcity. The human brain is actually wired to overeat because we didn't know when our next meal was going to come back then. But again, we also have the capability to tap into that stored energy to fuel us. Like I said, the human body is really smart. It knows what to do. You just have to point it in the right direction and give it the right signal to do its thing. So this whole notion that you can just run your way to a six-pack and severely cut your calories like what they do at shows like The Biggest Loser does not work long-term. Like, you might see some initial gains at the beginning, but the body is super smart and it's eventually going to adapt in an undesirable way by lowering your metabolism. The sad part is, if you look at studies done on The Biggest Loser contestants, they regain all the weight they've lost during the show and then some. Again, there's a limit to how many calories you can burn in a day. You can't just try and get it all back. I see that behavior at my gym, where I see the same people do 2 to 3 cardio classes in one day. And because their bodies are in a chronically stressed state from exercise, they specifically start gaining weight around their midsection, especially at this back area part right here. And their answer is to keep doubling down on their workout. So they have the right intention, but the wrong execution. You also can't just severely cut calories and not expect your body to adjust to it by lowering your energy expenditure, which is unfortunately what a lot of people do. Take a look at the cardio machine area at any commercial gym, and they're filled with well-meaning people trying to melt their fat away on their favorite cardio machine. If you go on the extreme performance end, if you've ever been around the endurance running scene where people run marathons, ultramarathons, and triathlons, the participants are a complete wreck for days or weeks after the event. A common side effect of over-exercising to the female body, for example, is they start losing their menstrual cycle. That type of training has been shown conclusively to increase the risk of cardiovascular disease, mitochondrial damage, and accelerated aging. It's often referred to as the excessive endurance exercise hypothesis. It's a zero-sum game. There's a price to pay whenever you're going after these extreme endeavors. So, how does someone achieve sustainable weight loss if counting calories burned from exercise isn't the answer? You want to focus on higher leverage tasks and prioritize achieving something called metabolic flexibility. It's where your body is easily and efficiently able to get its energy from the foods that you eat or whether you're using stored energy. There's no discernible difference whether you're getting your glucose from eating sushi rice or whether you're using stored glycogen from your muscles and liver, or whether you're getting fat from a stick of butter or you're using your own body fat and converting it to ketones for energy. You'll almost never feel hungry when you're metabolically flexible. All of a sudden, you get taken out of this hamster wheel of trying to manually burn calories. Now, it's more about optimizing certain hormones to put your body in the most optimal fat burning state. That's why I've always said that a calorie deficit will only work if you also optimize your hormones. For example, if you moderate the storing hormone insulin through dietary intervention, it unlocks your fat stores to be burned for energy. Every time you eat, insulin goes up. High insulin blocks fat burning, which means you're in fat storing mode. Your body can really only be in one of those two states. It can't do both at the same time. That's why one of the worst things that you can do is graze on food all day, because that means that you're in fat storing mode all day. Unfortunately, that's what most people do. The average eating window for most people is 15 hours. Late night snacking is especially insidious because the human body is naturally more insulin resistant at night. All those extra calories has to go somewhere, and they almost immediately get stored as body fat because your body has no way to burn those excess calories. This constant snacking pattern also makes you hungry because of the blood sugar and insulin swings. You're also most likely not eating enough protein to trigger muscle protein synthesis when you have these little snacks. Plus, people don't usually snack on the healthy stuff. You're just sending your body all the wrong signals if you're eating all day. It promotes metabolic inflexibility, the complete opposite of what you're trying to do. But when you're metabolically flexible, you also get control of other key fat loss hormones like leptin, ghrelin, cortisol, and other counter-regulatory hormones like glucagon, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. It's a beautiful thing. You're satiated, you're getting adequate and high-quality protein to build and maintain muscle, and you're building a robust immune system, which is so important during this public health problem. More importantly, it keeps certain fat loss hormones moderated so your body can burn off excess fat for energy. That should be your number one goal. Metabolic flexibility, not this idea of trying to manually burn calories through exercise. One of the biggest downfalls of that model is that exercise naturally triggers a compensatory increase in appetite. So as you burn more calories, you also eat more calories. It becomes a wash, and it's so easy to overeat. For example, an hour of hard cardio only burns around 400 to 500 calories. That's like one Krispy Kreme donut. Imagine working your butt off for an hour just so you can somehow justify eating one measly donut. And you can only do that for so long. It's just not sustainable. The average person, for example, really only works out about twice a week. And if you're doing the wrong exercise, specifically one that doesn't build or maintain muscle like cardio, you're screwed. That's why any workout program worth its salt should revolve around resistance training. The biggest takeaway here is that exercise has many benefits. It strengthens your heart, it builds stronger bones and muscle if you do resistance training, it improves your mood, it promotes better sleep, and other awesome things. But weight loss, unfortunately, isn't one of them. I hate to keep picking on runners because I'd rather people go for a run than not do anything at all. Honestly, you're way better off just walking. But just look at the number of people still carrying excess body fat at the starting line of any marathon. These people presumably had to train for that event. You don't just wake up one morning and say you're gonna run a marathon. No. You would have had to put in at least hundreds, if not thousands, of training hours. Yet, a lot of these well-meaning enthusiasts still easily carry at least 25 to 30 pounds of excess fat. It makes no sense because according to the calories in versus calories out model, they should weigh like 0 pounds or negative pounds because of all the training hours they've put in. Something's off. I think I've already made my point. So how do you shift your diet instead? You want to try and mimic how we originally evolved to eat as human beings. In terms of what to eat, revolve your diet around animals, animal products, and plants that your body tolerates, and everyone's different. Only eat fruits that are in season. Don't buy the vegan propaganda. Not eating meat is one of the worst pieces of advice you could ever give to someone. Also, what you stop eating has far more impact to your health than what you start eating. Severely minimize your intake of sugar, refined grains, and industrial seed oils. Learn to read food labels because industrial seed oils are everywhere. Also, don't drink your calories. In terms of when to eat, because it's just as important, we evolved to go through times of abundance and scarcity, feast and famine. We did not evolve to graze on food all day. You're not a cow. One of the best ways to tap into your fat stores is to just reduce the frequency of meals that you eat. If you just cut down your meals to 2 or even just 1.5 and consume it in a compressed eating window of 6 to 8 hours, you're simply giving your body the opportunity to make up the difference by burning up some of your stored energy. That's how I want you to think about it. It's not about eating less, but less frequently. Because again, every time you don't eat, insulin goes down and fat stores get released to be burned for energy. That's how it works. There's even studies done on mice where simply reducing their eating window to 12 hours, independent of any dietary intervention, was enough to protect the mice from obesity and other disease. It's that powerful. And by the way, you also activate a cleanse on a cellular level called autophagy, which literally means self-eating, which can help reduce your risk of cancer and other disease when you take a break from eating. I gotta admit, there's obviously an adaptation period to this, especially if you've just been eating the standard American diet of grazing on highly palatable and ultra-processed foods. But over time, your body will relearn and develop the capacity to tap into your fat stores and burn it for energy. Again, the body is super smart. It knows what to do. We just have to send it the right signals, and we do that through hormones. I mean, the entire body runs on hormones. It's not just a simple mathematical equation. You don't even have a calorie counter in your stomach. I don't have one. Do you have one? Again, instead, if you give your body the right hormonal signal, then you can use resistance training as a tool to build and maintain muscle. If we go back to the average person who, again, you can only expect to go to the gym twice a week, that's enough time to build and maintain muscle. And I've said this many times, but muscle is the mechanism of health. It's your metabolic currency. It's what pays for the dance. The more you have, the more you get to eat. It's also the organ of longevity. The higher the muscle mass, the better the protection against all-cause mortality. I have yet to meet anyone whose life got worse because they had more muscle. No, it's the opposite. Muscle makes everything better. It's like money. In terms of fat loss, muscle is a very active and energy-expensive tissue to build and maintain. Imagine burning more calories at rest just because you have more muscle, instead of trying to manually burn calories by doing cardio. And by the way, doing too much cardio is catabolic, meaning it's anti-tissue. It's an undesired adaptation to make the body more efficient at burning calories. Again, that's why you see a lot of runners rocking that skinny fat look. Just saying. Resistance training, on the other hand, is the only form of exercise that's pro-tissue. This is why I've always said that the best exercise to lose weight is to put down the fork and do something else. Take a break from eating. Give your body the opportunity to burn off some of that excess body fat for energy, instead of snacking every 3 hours and all the other BS information that you've been told, which is really just conventional stupidity these days. At the end of the day, there's no shortcut to this. You still have to put in the work. But I believe that this is as clear as it gets when it comes to achieving sustainable weight loss. Use exercise as a tool to build and maintain muscle and improve your cardiovascular fitness. You also get to appreciate food so much more when you do eat, because you're not so emotionally attached to it anymore. It's a win-win. The next question then becomes, how and what are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. This is also where a lot of people go wrong. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I was finally able to get rid of all my stubborn fat without depriving myself of my favorite foods or spending countless hours doing cardio. It's a simple and proven 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals like you, and it's also the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. Hey, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week, and feel free to comment below if you have any questions about this video. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Virtual high five.